We've received quite a bit of interest in my Free to Be workshop, so to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop, and we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. After you've had repeated exposure to people with strong narcissistic tendencies, you can rightly determine, I need to get away from this individual. This individual is not healthy with all of their control issues and inability to manage conflict well, to say nothing of all the condescension that they bring toward you and the conflicts that just never do seem to get resolved. You can think, this has brought out the worst in me. It's not something that I ever envisioned I needed and wanted to be involved in at all. And so you want to remove yourself. Now, let's keep in mind that narcissists, they almost seem to believe that you exist to elevate them. And of course, it's going to be at your expense. And as a result, they come at you with all sorts of gaslighting kinds of behaviors and comments and attitudes. And they try to keep you confused. They try to keep you off your game. Anytime you may express a preference or an idea or an interpretation, they're there with some sort of invalidation or comment that says you just have no idea what you're doing with. And so one of the things that can happen as you break away from that strong narcissist is you can actually have lingering questions in your mind. Even though you know that you're a decent person and you've got so much in front of you that's much better than what that narcissist can provide, there can still be some thoughts, well, it wasn't me. And am I able to do things right? And so as we go through the process of breaking free from narcissists, there are some adjustments that need to be made with our thoughts about, who we are relative to what that person has indicated who they think we are. So I want to go through 7 primary questions that I'd like for you to ask of yourself as you break away from that narcissist. And in doing so, I'm hoping it helps you get more and more sturdy and on solid ground as you move forward. Now, the first question that I want you to consider is this: am I a shameful person? Now, why do I bring that up? Let's keep in mind that the name of the game from narcissists toward you is shame, shame, shame. Narcissists are deeply shame-based individuals. They grew up in their own personal life with shame being a centerpiece with respect to how they've done life. They were shamed, or they were taught that judgment and all was on its way. And so they decided, well, what I'll do is I'll be the king of the hill or the queen of the hill. I'll be the one that pronounces shame upon others. How many times have you been on the receiving end of their shame? And whether it's post-divorce or separating from family or friends or work an ugly work environment, and you thought, maybe I am the problem. Maybe I did do some things that were wrong, and you can look back and say there was this that wasn't my finest or that mistake that I made. But are you a person that deserves shame? And of course, my response is no, I don't want you to think that way. If you have some restitution that needs to be made, or if you look back and see some things that were done in error on your part, you can make adjustments and you can move forward, and you don't have to carry that shame. The narcissist wants you to bear that shame for the rest of your life. But again, that's their game, and it doesn't have to be your game. Now, a second question that you might ask of yourself as you're breaking free, and that is, how am I going to explain to others what happened? Particularly if it's a relationship that you've been involved with for a long time, whether it's a marriage or a long-time partnership relationship that broke up, or maybe you've broken away from certain family members or long-time social circles or individuals or work situation. People are going to come up to you and ask, so what's going on? What's that all about? And the key there, as you think about it, is you need to know your audience. Sometimes individuals will come back and try to put it on you. Well, I don't know why you had to be so disruptive, or they may just not be positioned to understand all the nuances that go in. Or it could be that there's some flying monkeys from that narcissist who are asking questions so they can go back and report to the narcissist what's going on. But then you can also have some individuals who are close confidants or people that really want to know because they care and love you and they care about what happens. And so the first thing is just know your audience. Now, the key is you don't have to justify to anyone and everyone why you do what you do. With certain individuals that you trust strongly and you want to have that emotional investment with them, then go ahead and talk with them about it. And with some individuals, your closest inner circle, you can give some strong specifics. But make sure that that as you move forward, you have a willingness to explain what goes on or what happened and what prompted you to break free, but you're not required to have to give answers if you're not real sure that that person knows what to do with the answers that you have to offer. Now, a third question that you can ask as you break away from that narcissist is this. Okay, now I'm free. What does that mean? One of the things that narcissists wanted to do with you is they wanted to take over your decision-making skills. It's like, no, you need to think this way and you need to do it this way, and I declare this. And now you're away from that person. It's like, you know what? I don't have to filter my thoughts and my choices through that other individual. And so it does beg the question, so where do I go from here? Now, some people, as they break away from narcissists, they can go kind of wild. And you've heard me refer to the dog and the fence mentality. Dogs not kind of like Gus, except Gus doesn't do this. The dog may see the opening in the gate and take off and go, and then once they're outside, they don't care where they go. Some individuals, when they break away from the narcissist, do that. Think about a young person who's breaking away from a very dictatorial kind of family system or in a post-divorce kind of situation, something of that nature. Other individuals, they're now out on their own, and it feels a little strange to say, well, I'm the ultimate determiner of who I want to be. What does that mean? And so I'm hoping that you can slow down long enough to have a real strong definition of who you are and that you use your time breaking away from that person, finding what it means to be fully you. That would be a really healthy response to breaking away. A fourth question that you might ask post-narcissist is, what am I going to do with my lingering anger? As you look back, there's all sorts of emotion that you're going to hold on to, or it's just going to keep popping up, and one of them is going to be anger. You're going to look back and think, I so resent the way that they treated me or how they managed things or all those arguments or insults and all that I had to live through. And it's only natural for you to have that sense of tension and frustration that builds on the inside. Now, again, the question is, what are you going to do with it? Because in my mind, I don't want to be defined by my anger. Anger in and of itself is not wrong. It's tapped into your sense of self-preservation. But then the question that you have there is, am I going to go into the openly aggressive kind of mode and just be as ugly and mean towards people as possible? Am I going to be a passive-aggressive person? Am I going to hold on to bitterness? Or can I have a sense of assertiveness, and can I also, that's what I call releasing anger, appeal to my higher priorities of patience and goodness and decency? But that's going to be a question you'll need to come to terms with. Now, directly tied to that fourth question is the fifth question, and that is, what boundaries should I reinforce with the narcissist or with anyone else that's in my life? Now, with the narcissist, they may try to do some hoovering with you. Where that comes from, the Hoover vacuum cleaner. They want to suck you back in. And they may try to let you know, okay, I've changed, or you don't need to be doing this, or that's ridiculous. They may insult you. They may criticize you. They may make demands. Who knows? But the question is, how am I going to establish my boundaries? And boundaries is more or less tied to your definition of yourself, as I'm mentioning. As you define yourself, you can let it be known there are certain things that I'm no longer going to participate in, and I'm hoping you can determine I get to be the one that decides where my parameters are, what I will invest in personally, and what I will not invest in. And so that would be a question for you to come to terms with. Now, a sixth question, and this is a big one. And that is, am I ever going to be able to connect with people or trust people or love again? Sometimes when you've been through some very difficult times with that narcissistic person, you wanted to be loving, but you had such a sour taste in your mouth and such a disastrous kind of experience that it's like, I don't know if I can ever trust someone again. Obviously, in a family situation or marital situation or with adult kids or whatever it might be, you have that need for love. But even in a work setting, it's not that you're in love with that place, but am I ever going to be able to trust myself to coworkers and all of the rest? And I'm hoping you can recognize that your capacity to love is not based on other people's capability, but it's based on you. And I'm hoping that you can decide, well, I know what the essence of love and trustworthiness and connection is, and I'm going to hone my skills real strongly in that category. And if and when the right people come along in my future, I'm going to be positioned and take your good old sweet time. Don't feel like you have to rush back into any kind of connection that's going to prove to you that you're lovable. And then finally, a seventh question you might ask as you break away from that narcissist, and that is, how might my pain become a catalyst for good? You know, one of the things that you'll find as you get away and people begin learning about some of your experiences, you're going to hear some Me Too stories. Other individuals are going to say, well, that happened to me, or I had not exactly your experience, but something similar. And I'm hoping that a sense of camaraderie can build. As you look back upon the strain and difficulty there inside the relationship with the narcissist, I'm hoping you can think, you know, there's some things now that I'm more committed to than ever. And as I find other individuals who've had their pain, then what we're going to do is take our pain and turn it into a sense of resolve that says, never again am I going to be involved in that unhealthy style. And I'm going to move forward and hopefully carry some people with me in a healthy way where we can make this work towards a common good. So, like I say, narcissists want to gaslight you and make you confused about yourself. But as you're able to come to terms with questions such as this, I'm hoping that it positions you to find that much more strongly your center of gravity, so to speak, about who you are and how you're going to proceed. And in responding to these kind of questions in a healthy way, it's your way of implying that narcissist is not going to have permanent control over me. I've determined who I'm going to be. The reason I'm breaking away is because I'm committed to the healthy way of life. That's what I do, and no one's going to stop me now. And I hope that you can have what I refer to as positive stubbornness. I'm going to stubbornly hold on to my goal that says I'm moving in a right direction because it's time for me to establish the fullness of my decency. And I hope that videos such as this give you some good food for thought. If you've not already subscribed, I would encourage you to do so. We also have you'll see that join button, and we have an exclusive membership where we have extra perks, and it's a very minimal kind of fee, where we have question and answer times every Wednesday with me live, and we also have question and answer times with Laura, and then in addition, some extra videos. So you might want to look into that. If you have a need for counseling, if there's someone in your area that could help you, I would strongly encourage that you seek that out. If you don't have someone that's immediately available, we have an online sponsor for counseling, and the link is below there. And right now, online counseling is very popular, and we've received very good feedback from that. You would have professional counselors who could assist you in sifting these kind of things out. In addition, we have other resources like my Free to Be course, and we have others that are going to be coming up pretty soon. And so plenty of resources there, my books and all. When Pleasing You is Killing Me, The Anger Trap, those kind of books. So you might want to check into that. Plenty of resources. I'm hoping that as you break away from that narcissist, it's going to be your way of saying, I embrace and endorse who I am. And in doing so, I'm hoping that that's your way of saying, I'm committed to living in DRC, dignity, respect, and civility. That's what I stand for.